Are we living in a matrix society?
Well, it does definitely seem that way sometimes. Like you wake up and you feel like maybe this is all an illusion. Is there more to life than just this? You wake up, you go to your job, and do what you got to do to pay your taxes. And it's just a never-ending loop. So since the beginning, we are somewhat indoctrinated since school to follow the rules. You study certain subjects, and you become what you're supposed to be in order to be of use to society. But there'll be some of us who kind of question that, be like, why don't I just do my own thing? Such as the expression, escaping the matrix. I suppose entrepreneurship will be the closest thing to that, even though you're still going to be somewhat controlled or weighed down by the structure of society. You don't really own your home. You always go, you're either paying the rent or you're going to pay off a mortgage. So there's always debt because where you live is just owned by the state anyway. So yeah, we are living in this somewhat of a matrix reality. Another thing is like obviously being told lies or propaganda, ideologies by the media. Things that we believe about relationships is generally not true. I mean, such as the Disney fantasy, you just meet the one, you meet the soulmate, and then you're done. It's all perfect. But anyone with real world experience will know that it's never that easy and it's never that simple. So people often say during their wedding day, I just knew she was the one when I first saw her, which generally is BS. That's like a narrative you would paint after the fact. Most likely you had to go through tons of rejections with girls who were your exact type, who you thought could have been the one, but just didn't really like you like that. But that's okay, you'll survive. And one can say that money is an illusion. It only has value because we give it value. We're just constantly chasing it, trying to pay off our taxes, trying to pay off some kind of debt, even though like the government could pretty much print it off anyway. So that makes you feel like even more of a slave now, doesn't it? And it seems that like a lot of men and women nowadays are not particularly getting along because of the ideologies that are pushed to them, which probably go against their human inclinations and eventually will probably destroy their spirits. Probably men and women don't know what each other want because they often want different things out of life, and there's often a clash. There's a conflict of interest. So that's why often, it's often a misunderstanding, which the media just loves to perpetuate and stir up even more. You got to free your mind, which is a quote from The Matrix. So first of all, you got to be open-minded. You got to realize there might be different ways of viewing life, different possibilities, different paradigms that have not yet been explored. And when you free your mind, it's unshackling all the burdens that are holding you down, all the stresses of life, and you just look at everything and you say, what is this? I think more like an observer. I just look at everything and I say, this is interesting, like just the traditions and the things that we're meant to do, all the rules that are enforced on us. So do I really have to do it? And it seems that the elites are the ones who call the shots of how society is run and how the media portrays its messages towards the general public. And they probably know a whole bunch of secrets about this reality that we have no idea about, at least not the common people. So just be aware that probably there's a lot of things that we don't know about the world, this reality, and you always got to be questioning it.
I like the idea of questioning stuff because we do have to question things, and oftentimes we're told at a young age this is what to believe, this is the truth. We take it for dogma.
See, we don't know any better when we're young, and if the media is that powerful, like who are we to say that it's wrong? I mean, the news is supposed to be all correct and factual, right? But who are you supposed to believe, Fox News or CNN, when they both have their different sides of the story, as long as it fits their political agenda?
They're both working together.
Or maybe
Plot twist.
They're all working together just to confuse everyone and divide. You've got to think about that. So it's always best to do the research and connect the dots and maybe find there's a different answer to what we're all being fed.
We're always being told what to do, what to read. This is right, do this is the correct path. But ultimately, when it it comes down to it, you have to make the final choice. You have the final say. Okay? Not you, not your thoughts, not the person around you. This is your reality. This is your matrix. And now you're gonna take charge. Are there any rules to abide to in this matrix? And so I feel like with the rules, there are some we may have to follow because we're just playing the game, right? We're playing the game of life, of putting on the mask and taking it off. Some of us are woke, some of us do want to put the mask on just because, right? Some rules of people follow of doing a 9 to 5, for example, starting your own business. All of this stuff can sound very, very scary because we're so used to leading on one side of the spectrum, right? What spectrum am I talking here? 9 to 5. But we're all brought up into the school system that we go to primary school, secondary, college, go to uni, and get an amazing job. How did that turn out, right? Well, not all of us really survived. Some of us, like me, kind of worked a bit more in retail, and I had to do some side hustle. You know, a bit of deals, if you know what I mean. No, I'm just kidding, not part of that. But look, we have to think for ourselves, okay? No one's gonna tell us what to do. We're not in school anymore, okay? No one is here to save us. There's no hero, there's no villain. There's you waking up each day, and the hustle is due. The hustle is due, okay? Whatever dreams you've got, they're there, they're real, but they're not gonna happen unless you do, unless you wake up. Look, we're gonna wake up most likely in our flat, in our bed, in our house. If you're on the roof, you are blessed, okay? And usually when you go home tonight, you're going back to the bed. So if you know you're waking up in the bed and you're going home to a bed, what's happening, everything in between, what's stopping you from achieving what you want to achieve between waking up and going to bed?
What if you're waking up in the prison cell?
Well, if you woke up in a prison cell, oh damn, look, lockdown didn't affect you, right? You must be whole ready for Mr. Olympia. So you got the gains, you're pumping, you got the chest. Habits are breaking down by cue and trigger, what we see, and then there's stuff which trigger us. But between cue and trigger, I want you to choose how to respond to it. We all have a choice in how to respond. We can let stuff trigger us and we can get consumed by it, or we can choose to delay it and never let it affect our day. Let me give you an example. You see a person working out on the park or the gym. Okay, I want to work out. I want to look fit. Make that conscious response to head to the gym and work out. And it doesn't need to be an hour long. Maybe it could be 5 minutes long. Maybe it's that business you wanted to start. But all you have to do is start, and then just make it a habit. And when it becomes a habit, you have infinite choices in this matrix to learn anything you want. Nothing is out of your reach. There's not going to be a digital app for this. And fuck the metaverse. That's fucking us up. Yeah, we need to learn how to interact with each other. What does the red pill and the blue pill mean in our modern day society?
It's quite a common term now, especially within the internet, sort of taking the blue pill, the red pill. Now, the red pill is like a symbol for what's truth, what's real, what's actually beneath the surface of what we've been told to believe. It's unwrapping the illusion that we've been fed our whole lives and seeing what's actually beneath the surface, how things actually work. And usually how the real world is, the reality of things, is not that pretty, it's not that glamorous, it's often kind of depressing. And often we want to take the blue pill and think, you know what, screw all this, I want to be ignorant to how the world works and live in blissful ignorance.
Are there any other pills that we haven't discovered yet in this matrix?
Yeah, people say, oh, there's maybe a purple pill, so you can go in between red pill and blue pill and, try and find the best of both worlds. you try and appease both sides. You know, you're very like vanilla. You kind of go along to get along. You don't want to offend people, but you also want to be on the right side of society and be accepted by the tribe. So you don't want to say anything too controversial or that will hurt people's feelings. It's just best to kind of research it, know about it, but you don't have to go on talking about it with people who are not at that level of philosophical inclination.
I like that. About saying this red pill stuff as well, it's so true because you don't know where everyone is at in life.
Yeah. I mean,
Everyone's
a
at
lot of
different
it-
stages.
A lot of these concepts and ideas or facts are a bit too much for like the common person to take in, and you'd be like, well, how dare you say that?
Do you think political correctness, the PC culture, do you feel that's one of the abiding rules which is uprising in the Matrix?
Oh, absolutely, especially nowadays. I think it wasn't much the case, maybe so much in the 60s, especially during the war. Like, they're not going to be thinking about political correctness when countries are fighting with each other. They just got to get the job done. They got to, survive through hard times. There's no time for like superficial politics. And now everything is very sensitive, very specific, and I just don't have time for that really. But yeah, in today's society, corporate society, entertainment industry, it's very heavily politicized. If you're smart about it, you can just get along,
Play
go
the
about
game.
your day and like not be a dick, really. If the rules are not intrusive to your lifestyle, then it's fine. You can just go along with it and like not say comments that are unnecessary or inappropriate. That's not too hard to do. Sure, you might disagree with some of the company's policies, but if you can get along with people, that's the main thing.
Life can be one big mess. Like over there. You want to be this scrap metal, seeing everything in a third perspective. Analyzing the mess and realizing